I'm going to show you how to skim coat a wall. My walls were really heavily textured and I don't happen to like that, so I wanted to cover that up, and I'm going with a smooth texture. You could retexture your walls in different ways, just maybe a lighter texture, knockdown texture, or a California knockdown, which is like a hand trowel look. But that's kind of a regional thing, and you kind of need to be aware of what's popular in your region. Here it's either texture, like knockdown texture, which I don't like, orange peel or knockdown, where they splatter the joint compound on and then trowel it down. Either that or smooth. So I'm going with smooth. So the first thing that you need to do if you're going to tackle this is put on some work clothes that you don't mind getting dirty in, because you will get dirty, and protect your floors. This carpet is coming out, so I'm using it as a drop cloth. And then you need a work light that you can illuminate your wall. And when you illuminate your wall, you want to set it up so that the light is shining on the wall at an angle. That way you can see all the imperfections and see where you need to focus. So I have two techniques to show you. One is with a trowel, and the other with a metal trowel, traditional metal trowel, and the other is with a magic trowel. I'll show you that. But the first thing you need to do is mix up your joint compound. So I'm using pre-mixed compound. I've used the +3 lightweight and also the ultra lightweight. They both work great. Now, when you get it out of the container, it's quite thick. And that's too thick for skim coating, because skim coating is just very, very thin layers of joint compound. So you want to mix it up. Now I'm just using a cordless gel with a metal mixing attachment in, and it doesn't have enough power to do a whole bucket at once. So I have an empty container, transfer some of the joint compound into it. I actually put it up to here, and then 2 cups of water is what I did. And then you just mix it up, and you want it to end up being about pancake batter consistency. Or that's what I like anyway. And then, for both techniques, I'm going to roll it on with a paint roller. You can do it that way, or you could trowel some into this container for the hand trowel method. But I find that when the joint compound's watered down and you get it on here and you try to get it to the wall, it sloshes off. So I'm going to roll it on. And you want to have a wet rag so you can wipe your hands and the magic trowel, and a spray bottle with some water in it. And I'll show you why later. But first we're going to do the traditional trowel. And we're going to work in small sections. And if I weren't making a video, I would start at the top in one corner and work my way down and then come over. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go smack dab in the middle of the wall. So roll some compound onto the wall. And like I said, small sections, because it dries quickly. So now if you're doing the traditional trowel, all you do is you take and you just swoop it. And you can go in different directions. I do keep this handy because I like to scrape off the excess compound. And like the first few coats that you do, depending on how heavy your texture is, it's gonna, like the trowel will get bump along the little bumps and create even more texture. But then the next time you'll come in a different direction and smooth it out. So that is how I do that, and that looks pretty good. Now if it starts to dry out, then you can just spritz the edges. And I find that works well for feathering in, especially if you're doing a patch. You can just focus on spritzing the edges, and that allows you to work a little bit longer and feather in. You don't want to scratch like that. So, ooh yeah, that looks good. So that's good. So that's one method. Now the other method that I've recently discovered is with this magic trowel. And that's literally the name. It's a magic trowel. It's like a squeegee. It's angled and then it's tapered, and it's made specifically for this purpose. So you can order it online, or you can buy it at, it's available at some Sherwin-Williams. I drove over to mine yesterday and bought it because I was doing a little research and I thought, hey, I'm gonna try that out, and I didn't want to wait because I am not a patient person. So here's how that works. And when I'm doing sections, I'll start at the top and work my way down, and then I'll come over, and I always overlap a little bit of what I've just done because I want to re-wet that, and I want to feather these sections into each other. So now you want to wet the edge of your trowel, and all you do is swipe down. And I find that if you hold the trowel perpendicular, it gives you a much better edge. And that's awesome. And I'll, again, do the edges, wet the edge. That's not, there we go. And then you want your wet rag with you because you need to wipe this clean every couple of swipes so you have a clean edge to wipe. Now the thing you want to focus on is not overworking your area, the joint compound that you're working with. Because if you keep wiping it this way and that way, it'll start to dry, and then you'll start to pull the edges, or it'll start to get crumbly. And so this edge I'm not happy with, but I'm not going to worry about it because when I come over here, I'm going to roll over it and feather it out. Same here, feather it out. So that's that. I always have a little bit of joint compound that's not been watered down, because if you have any areas where you have like dings and gouges, those aren't going to get filled in with the skim coat. You need to hit it with a little bit thicker joint compound. Just do that and let it dry, and then feather it out or go back over the whole thing. With the skim coating, depending on how heavily textured the walls are, you'll probably have to do 3 or 4 or 5 coats. So I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not a fun task, and it's not an easy task. It's a learned skill. You'll have to practice. It's tedious, it's frustrating, it's messy. But this bucket of joint compound is $15. I've used about 2, so $30. And if to do one room, I don't even know if you could hire someone to come in and do one room. It's too small of a job for anyone to want to take unless they're really needing a job. So you could price it out, but it would definitely be several $100s to hire someone. So I'm, I guess, cheap. I didn't want to pay someone. I wish I would have now because I've been doing this since Tuesday. But anyway, after all of your joint compound has dried, and you don't need to sand in between layers. If you have created ridges or proud lines from the rigid metal trowel, sometimes the edge of it will create a ridge. You can come back with just a small drywall knife and just scrape it, and that'll get rid of that proud line. Or you can sand. And now I use a screen sander on a pole, but you want to make sure that you properly, I'm going to put this on so you can see the technique, but you need to wear a mask because it is messy. Creates a lot of dust. So you put a sanding screen on the end of this little sanding thing and put it on a paint rod, and don't push hard because you'll create texture. You just want to very gently sand. I could go up and down and sideways, around and around. But the main thing to remember is just very gently. Very gently. Then vacuum. Or spritz. No, that doesn't work. And then you kind of have to vacuum the walls. I don't generally vacuum. I usually take a towel and wipe, but sometimes I don't get it all, and then it gets in my paint, and then it makes it all kind of messy. So you should vacuum. So that's that. It's pretty, I would say that this is the easier method. It's easier to get it perfect, or close to perfect. The hand trowel, the metal trowel is a little bit harder. And obviously this is like almost my final coat, so it's very smooth already. When it's really heavily textured and the metal trowel just scrapes along and it fills some voids, but sometimes it bumps and makes more texture. This is nice because it just is flexible and it contours to the shape of the wall, so you can fill in the texture more quickly. So for a beginner, I think this is the way to go. And I'm not really a beginner. I'm not a professional by any means, but I definitely like this. But I found that I still have like kind of a cottage cheese thigh texture on the walls. And so I think that I'm gonna hit it with the hand trowel. I keep calling it that. It's not, it's with this one at the end. I'm not sure, I have to eliminate. I think actually I may have gotten rid of that cottage cheesy look with the sanding, so I don't know. You just have to try it yourself and see what you like. Oh, one more thing. So yesterday I think was the first day I've been using the roller, and I initially bought just a cheap roller, and that was a mistake because I'm finding little hairs in my wall. And that drives me nuts. So this time I used a microfiber roller cover, which I wish I would have thought of that before, because it actually holds a little more compound and it doesn't like fall off. So I would go with a microfiber roller. And that's all I can think of. So there you go. Go make your wall smooth.